So, in my last video, I talked about values and morals and why two or more sets of people often get into an existential, infinite game to the point where someone drops out of the game because they either lose the will or the resources to continue the fight or to continue to stay in the game. In the context of that, let's read through this. This says no concessions made to Nicaragua for release of political prisoners. The United States did not give any sort of concessions to Nicaragua in exchange for the release of more than 100 political prisoners last week, an official said on Monday. Jacobstein said that the administration of Nicaragua, President Daniel Ortega, continued to imprison its citizens for political reasons and urged the leader to free them. Now let's look at this in the context of potentially people that are being imprisoned for their political beliefs. In the summer of love, 2020, 2021, we had people literally riot and burn down cities, and almost nothing happened to them. Conversely, on January 6th of 2021, we had people walk through the Capitol building politely and become imprisoned. We had undercover instigators do awful things at the Capitol, trying to incite rioting. Our own government officials undercover, and potentially undercover officials from other nations, in trying to instigate violence and rioting. Yet it was the peaceful people walking through the Capitol building who make up many of the people who are imprisoned from January 6th. And that shows hypocrisy right there. And so that created a significant fracture that has reverberated and grown exponentially throughout the U.S., to where you now have very polar opposite set of values and beliefs now coming head to head. And both sides are believing more and more that they won't be able to resolve things with words, either spoken or written, that the pen is no longer mightier than the sword. So we have that blatant display of hypocrisy in two-tier judicial system. Likewise, we have a pattern emerging of white parents, of mass deleters being targeted for their children's behavior, and we have black parents of mass deleters having no repercussions and often being made out to be victims of a system. Two-tier policing. All of that stuff shows hypocrisy. We have specific rules and passes that we afford to people that the U.S. has been bringing into this country as of late, receiving special treatment that the citizens of this country are not receiving, although they are oftentimes in very, very similar situations, financially, economically, in their lives, and the things that they need and things that they could use help with. Two-tier judicial system, two-tier reward system, two-tier mechanisms for helping people. And so this just casts more light on hypocrisy, that a nation who appears to have imprisoned citizens for political reasons based on those understandings of events, that the U.S. did not imprison rioters across this country in 2020 and 2021, but imprisoned people who simply walked through the Capitol building and took pictures, and even remained within the velvet tour ropes within the Capitol building. That level of constraint, many of those people are imprisoned. that looks like it's for very political reasons. Yet that country, the US, is calling on Nicaragua to release its potential political prisoners. This hypocrisy is going to drive more and more polarization, less trust in the US government as it continues to behave this way. Hypocrisy drives distrust. Doesn't matter if you're talking about in a personal relationship, if you're talking about in a business relationship, or if you're talking about a relationship between US servants, government officials, or what they're supposed to be, and its citizens, the government's, the country's citizens, the citizens of that country, right? It is a rule that is applicable across all relationships. Anyways, that's all I have for this one. Until next time, stay exponentially aware.